Namaste. Thank you for joining me in this practice. We will begin by sending the legs out to the sides. They don't need to be too wide. The hands will be back behind you, supporting you. And your fingertips can face in any direction as long as it feels okay for your wrist. And we will begin just with very gentle movements in which we will begin to inhale deeply and create an arch in the spine. Maybe taking the throat forward and the chin up. And as we exhale, we soften the whole front of the body. And we will do that a few times. So if you have done normal yoga, there is cat and cow, chakra, which resembles this movement in the spine. So we expand the front and then we expand the back. And as you do this, start to become more aware of where you feel your center. Whether you feel completely centered or if you're leaning over to one side more than the other. And if you need to rest your wrists, you can always find movement in your wrists. And now begin to do the same and let your belly expand. So the belly moves forward, the sit bones back. But this time, begin to lean over to one side and lift the sitting bone, your left sitting bone off the floor. And then come back down, so it can be your buttocks or the sitting bone, and the belly expands over to the right, and do that a few times. So here you can let your whole spine get involved, even the neck, anything that needs to get involved gets involved. And then see if you can pause at the center. Truly pause, close your eyes. Tune in and notice how this feels in your body, whether you feel that you're centered, that you're more rooted on one side of your pelvis than the other, whether you're tilted to one side, whether your support is equal between your sitting bones. And then let's go back and do the other side. So hands behind you. If they're too close, you might not be able to support yourself enough, and you do want quite a bit of support. And then begin to expand the belly over to your left. It's as if you were almost rolling onto the side, but the movement is coming mainly from the buttocks, sitting bone that is lifting. So letting be always an exploration of how it feels for you, what it produces. Because I could tell you what it does. There is always a purpose behind everything that happens in life and everything that I do. But I would like you to feel first how it is for you. This has to do with the nervous system, but also the urinary bladder line and the kinetic chain, the superficial back line of the body. And now we can pause in the center. Noticing both sitting bones. And here we will tap into any sensations, emotions, or feelings that we might have. We will begin this practice with this feeling of being grounded, supported. The Muladhara chakra represents the ground we stand on. As you be here, let this connection be felt. Let this connection be experienced. Let's begin this practice in Viparita Karani or waterfall posture. So for that you will need a wall, and I will use my door here. So if you wanted to, you can slide your mat towards that. I don't really mind, I will leave my mat where it is. So you would place your hip close to the door. I would normally leave a hand apart from the hip to the door because you don't want your sitting bones right on the door, otherwise the legs cannot fully relax. But then you will bring one forearm down, the other forearm down, and simply slide the legs up. Allow your eyes to close. Energy can be very subtle, but all it takes to feel it is an intention to do so. A sense of curiosity. And we will begin this practice by reminding ourselves that we are enough. There is nothing lacking. And right here and now we have all we need. And everything else that could be added would be a bonus. Yet it is not essential. Now begin to breathe in, sensing the air passing through the nostrils, down the throat, chest, abdomen. And imagine that you want your breath to reach the pelvic floor, the seat of Muladhara. The exhalation is soft. So inhaling all the way again from the nostrils down to the pelvis. As if you wanted to expand the lowest part of the navel. And now as you exhale, notice how the navel hugs in and up towards the spine. And take a few breaths like this where you notice and follow the inhale to its peak. Take a pause there, and this time exhale through the mouth. Keep your breath elongated. And now begin to get more engaged in the process of breathing. And at the end of your exhalation, draw the area right underneath the belly button back and up towards the spine. And then inhale normally. And as you exhale, deliberate effort to send the lower belly towards the spine. There is a slight suction in and up of the navel area, similar to Uddiyana Bandha, the abdominal lock. And now repeat, exhale. Exhaling all the air out, and at the end of the exhalation, see if you can hold and notice your pelvic floor, the space in between the anus and the genitals, and see if there is anything happening there. And then keep breathing. In your next exhalation, repeat. And sense whether you can feel this very subtle upward lift of the perineal wall that correlates to the engagement of the navel drawing towards the spine. So one more time, exhaling, deliberate exhalation, holding at the end of the exhale, and sense it's as if there was a little string that pulls some tissues upwards or some energy upwards. If you cannot feel this, it's okay. If you feel it, it is Muladhara. So Mula means base, Adhara means support. So Muladhara is base of support. And here Mula Bandha is this energetic lock that helps to transmute, transform, or move the energy or contain the energy that we have in storage in this physical area. Mula Bandha can be done consciously as a squeezing of the pelvic floor. It can be enhanced, but as some of you have noticed, it also happens simultaneously as you contract the abdominal area towards the spine. So we will slowly begin to come out of this posture. You can send the arms out. So this posture is a gift for our nervous system, for the legs, for the circulation in the legs. You can press the feet onto the wall to slide yourself away, and then you can roll over to one side. We will move towards the mat. So I have my timer with me here. The first posture will be child's pose. If child's pose hurts your knees, I would suggest placing a blanket under the knees, placing a bolster under your torso. Or if your tops of the feet give you a sense of discomfort, the tops of the feet can be there, or these can also go right above your ankles, a blanket. So you can choose. Otherwise, begin to either send the arms forward, the knees a little wider than the hips or as wide as the hips, or you can go for the classical version with knees together, forehead down and arms back. I will go for the classical version, in which the spine is completely rounded. So our root chakra governs our adrenal glands, our reproductive system. Of course, with the help of other chakras and other glands, everything in the body works together as a whole to make anything and everything happen. And this chakra is quite connected also to the kidney and bladder meridian from traditional Chinese medicine. So this is where different philosophies begin to connect. So the Muladhara chakra also controls the kidneys, as I mentioned, the bladder, the bones, bowels, and as you might be able to infer by this, it controls many of the systems in our bodies. If you are in the classical child's pose, let your shoulders be super soft so they hang. Space is being created in between the shoulder blades, and the whole of the back body, giving space to the liver and kidney, while you create a mild compression in the abdominal area, which is very beneficial for circulation. And sometimes you could try, if you wanted to, I make fists with my hands and I place them in my tummy to enhance that massage or the enhancement of circulation in my abdominal area. For those of you who do myofascial release with balls or rollers, you might be aware that massaging the abdomen is quite beneficial as long as it's not inhibiting your breath. Slowly begin to release the hands down underneath your shoulders or so, and feel welcome to do any movement that you need. I will personally pause in Sisa, but any slow movement, passive movement is super welcome. We'll now begin to walk the hands forward and see if you can tuck your toes, so curl the toes down, and either it will only be around a minute and a half where you're going to be sending some weight onto the toes. If this is too much, leave your sit bones and leave the arms coming into an upright position with the spine, or you can walk the hands onto the thighs and pause here. Here we stimulate quite a few of the meridian lines on the feet. And always honoring your primary home, your body temple. Never doing anything that creates pain. And slowly begin to come out. You can place the tops of the feet on the floor or do a movement if you need. For the next posture, you might need to roll the back of your mat to place the heels on top. It's squat or Malasana. So if the heels are lifted, you can place a rolled towel, blanket, or a couple of blocks, one underneath each foot. Your hands can be on the blocks, or they can be in a prayer. So, just as in traditional Chinese medicine, the first chakra is connected to the Jing energy, which I've spoken about before. It's the energy that we inherit from our parents. So this chakra has to do with who we were or how we were brought up in the first years of our life, and we will be quite influenced by how we felt with our caregivers or our parents, and the amount of trust that we cultivate when we were children that brings us a sense of safety, nourishment, of being protected. When we develop our trust, it is what begins to shape how we act, how we view the world, and all of our experiences. So when there have been situations in our lives that makes us feel threatened, or if we were abandoned or neglected, or during the first few years of our life there was a separation from one of our parents, then that will have an effect on how we form our relationship with this energy center, or how it spins. Some of the issues with this center are a sense of insecurity or fear, or an inability to trust, an attachment to people or things, possessions. And it is deeply connected to our survival needs. So we only have 20 seconds here. Slowly begin to come out over the posture. You can sit back. Remember that any movement is welcome in the rebound or the counter posture minute. Sometimes you might choose to wiggle the legs, the spine, but everything is done very, very mindfully, with big respect for our bodies, our homes. In the next posture, we can bend the knees if you feel that your lower back tends to give you a little bit of pain or discomfort in forward folds, you can bring your sitting bones higher by sitting on a bolster or a blanket. So for this posture, you can choose to have one shin in front of the other, or you can have the full variation where one leg is completely on top of the other and the top knee is stacked over the bottom one. And this will also be done with a side bend, so your torso will lean over to one side. But if you prefer to do the traditional variation where you fold forward, then you're super welcome to that too. So I will go on to a loose shoelace and we will fold over to one side. You choose which side. You can also be more close to the midline of the mat, choosing the height of your props, or deciding whether it feels necessary for you. The energy of this chakra, Muladhara, is the energy that anchors us to the world. So these chakras act to move and pump electrical energy and fluids and nutrients upwards along the entire length of the spine, brain, and into the organs. They allow for the reception, assimilation, and the transmission of life force energy. The key to lasting health depends on keeping these vortices, these wheelhouses of energy spinning smoothly. So whenever they begin to spin excessively or sluggishly, it is when we would emotionally, physically, or mentally begin to experience some issues, since they influence our behaviors and our emotions. So here, as you breathe, as you connect to the feeling of your lower body, the legs, the feet, all of the bones, the pelvis, knowing that sometimes a certain amount of uncertainty, discomfort, and even uneasiness is leading us to a greater depth, greater understanding of ourselves, of others. And utterly aware to see what comes up in the moments of stillness. Just one more breath here. Slowly begin to come out. You can extend the legs if you wish. I always like to pause in between to notice the shifts of sensations, energy. You can choose between having your legs in a V shape or bring the soles of the feet together. I will bring the soles of the feet together, and here I will interlace my toes and all parts of our bodies are incredibly connected to our organs, micro of the macro. And here you can also massage the feet with your thumbs as if you were kneading. Life asks us all to pause, to look within, to go inside. Beginning to fold. Using support whenever you need. The body is always whispering, informing us of what it needs. Of what it needs to thrive. And very often when we get overly busy, running around, the whispers get softer and softer until they completely dissolve. And when they begin to dissolve, then we might feel pain in an area all of a sudden, or we might get sick. And we sometimes feel we didn't see that coming. But in the chakras, as much as in traditional Chinese medicine, when we see the emotions that are latent in our behaviors, especially when they are uncommon, especially when they come out of nowhere, we can begin to notice that it is in the first stage of an imbalance. And in this first stage it's so much easier to shift this ease that wants to take residence in our bodies. But that can only be noticed when we are in true quietude. Inner quietude. Last 3 cycles of breath here. Slowly begin to come out. So choosing which variation you would like to take. I'll stick to loose shoelace, and then we begin to fold. So you can be sliding over to the side. The most important thing is that you feel that your sitting bones are grounded, are rooted. Since this chakra is connected to primal emotions and survival needs, when it is out of balance, we tend to hoard things, possessions. We become attached to money. We might sense lack of stability. We might feel ungrounded, restless, anxious, fearful, and even angry, frustrated. And there is a lack of trust as the cravings and as the desire to have more, to be more, becomes excessive. So it is not bad to desire to have shelter or food or means of transport. But what creates a sense of imbalance is when we become too attached to those things, and when we overly pursue material things that bring a fleeting sense of satisfaction, but can never bring lasting happiness. Because they too, as everything else, is impermanent. slowly begin to come out of the posture. Find what you need. And let's begin to move all the way down to the laying down position. For a moment, hug your knees in. You can grab the top of the knees and create a circle outwards. Sometimes both knees move together in a circle. Sometimes you can push them in opposite directions and then they form a circle. And now hug the right knee in towards the chest, either left foot down on the floor with the knee bent, or you can extend the left leg. This posture won't be as long as the normal yin posture. And here you can either grab your shin, you can grab the outside of the foot or the inside of the foot. It's called happy baby. This is a half happy baby. In yin yoga it's called stirrup. And you might also place a bolster underneath your thighs so it makes it a little bit more comfortable. So remembering that in yin there is no pushing, and it is the perfect time to know that what we're doing is enough. And there is no forcing or pushing or striving to be anywhere else but what we are. We meet ourselves exactly where we are. Slowly release a foot, extend leg. Take a moment here to observe the difference between one side of the body and the other. And then begin to bring the other foot in. You can have the knee in first and then check where you can grab hold of the bottom foot or leg. Sometimes creating a little weight on that opposite leg can help you not tilt over to one side. Having a bolster underneath the thigh of the bent leg also can be very helpful. The most helpful thing we can do in our lives is to be present. Present enough to live our lives through a clear, unfiltered lens. Because the more present that we are, the less caught up we are in the anxiety of the future or in the regrets of the past. Slowly begin to release that leg. Sending the leg out. Pausing. You can invite the arms a little wider. And just for a moment, bend the right knee, slide the right foot slightly in. Left leg can be extended. And see if you can do the same that you did at the beginning, where you let your belly grow and expand over your left side as your right sitting bone lifts and your right foot presses down on the floor. And do so a few times. See if the movement was initiated by the pelvis. And you're doing just the same side. And now as the foot presses, the right knee reaches towards the left corner. You let your whole spine, arm, neck, whatever gets involved, allow it. One last one. And then come to center, extending the leg. Noticing the difference between one side of the body and the other. And then left foot in. Left foot presses down, left sitting bone lift, belly expand over to the right. Come back to center. This is called somatic movement. Again, repeating. And this is a very mild way of increasing energy circulation in certain parts of our bodies. And it also has a subtle effect on the nervous system that you might be able to notice. Your left knee moving towards the right corner, belly expands. And then center. Last one. And then centering completely for Shavasana. You can take this Shavasana with a bolster underneath your knees or with a block underneath your sacrum. You can place, if you have one of the hard blocks, you can place a blanket over the block as well, so that it's not that hard. And the sacrum, this sacred place, is right underneath our lower back, in between the hips or so. The legs can be wide apart, palms can be wide apart. Let yourself release and let go of any residual tension in your face or jaw, in your neck or shoulders. As you take a brief scan over the body and notice how it feels. Softening on the heart space. So if you wanted to allow that area to melt towards the spine. Imagine that you are laying down on your favorite place on earth. In any of the diverse, magnificent areas that are out there to explore. Is there grass, soil, sand, ocean? Is it daytime or nighttime? What does it need to have for you to feel home? For you to feel the feeling of safety, of home, balance. And whatever you need, place it there in your mind's eye. Create it in your visualization. And wherever you are, can you for a moment lay on your back as if you were taking your Shavasana in this favorite place of yours? Can you now imagine that you are as stable and grounded as an oak tree, and your whole back of the body is now growing a network of roots that reach all the way through the soil, like golden roots that reach all the way down towards the earth's core. If your block feels as a hindrance in your relaxation, you can micro-bend the knees to remove it. But let yourself truly internally experience this sense of deep connection to the earth below you, as this golden network of roots reaches all the way down and all the nutrients and energetic properties of the crystals that lie underneath the earth and the soil begin to recharge you. So envision now your whole body being charged up with a red light that now covers the whole lower skin, the whole length of your spine and all the bones in your body and legs. And it's as if you were being topped up with this magnetic, potent, nourishing field of light. Feeling safe and protected by this magnetic shield. That now becomes an orb that surpasses the limits of your skin. And feel yourself in space. The space all around your body. You're embedded in this potent, vital prana. Potent and vital current. So now it not only protects you, but it emanates from you. The earth is in you and you are in and of the earth. Keeping this protective shield of energy around your body as an orb or a sphere of goodness. Let the roots that you planted from your body down return to you, so that recoil back onto your body. Begin to return into your body home, body temple, as you begin to increase the movement on your fingertips, on your toes. Stretching the arms. Bending the knees and rolling over to your left hand side. Pushing yourself up towards the seated position, keeping the energy you created in Shavasana. Eyes closed, palms in prayer, thumbs in between the eyebrows. May we foster internal ease as we clear our minds from past and future and reside fully in this moment. The thumbs to the lips. May we benefit the world by speaking with hope, with faith and trust. The thumbs to the heart. May we co-create a reality in which we're sovereign of our life experiences. And may this creation be one of love, of harmony, and of acceptance. Namaste.